I tell you how I got into Voyage. It's a long story. I had worked in 1960, and it was the most depressing time of my life. I was very low, went home every night depressed, because I was working with Irwin Allen in a film called The Lost World. It was one of those pictures that the studio wanted me to do, and I felt I had to do, and I didn't want to go on suspension, all that sort of thing. And I was just, I didn't like the script, I didn't believe in the script, and I'd get on the set and I'd see Jill St. John in pink tights holding a poodle, and we're supposed to go on this expedition, you know, and the dinosaurs, and I was on that film for about 8 weeks or so, and I was really, truly depressed. So, about a year later, I wasn't depressed anymore, but Irwin called, and he wanted me to do a film called Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. And I thought, after my experience on The Lost World, I couldn't face it, because it was basically the same thing. So I turned it down. And then a couple of years after that, he called me for Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, the series. I turned that down. I said, Irwin, I'm grateful that you think of me for this part, but I really feel I'm not right for it, and I'm looking for something else, something a little different, something with a little bit more dimension for an actor. And the guy wouldn't let go. I went to New York. He called me in New York. I went to London, and I did a show with Roger Moore, The Saint, and I was guesting on that. And Irwin called me in the middle of the night and, you know, pursued it. For some reason, he wanted me. I don't know why, because God knows there were terrific actors in Hollywood at that time. But he had made up his mind that he wanted me to play the part. So finally, after I heard that Richard Basehart was playing the Admiral, I was terribly impressed that he got Richard. And I thought, well, God, if Richard Basehart can do this, I certainly can. So I called him, and I said, okay, you're on. I can't wait to work with you, Irwin. And that's how it all started. I thought it was actually the best year, the first year in black and white. And William Reed Woodfield and Alan Balder were our best writers. And they'd written a lot of shows in the first year and the second year. And I thought it was, in fact, just recently, I've watched a lot of the first year shows. And I was terribly impressed. No, really. I thought it was very well done, which makes me think that Irwin was right. I didn't laugh once. I didn't smile once, but I got caught up in the action. Richard Basehart and we got on tremendously well. From the first day we met, I got his telephone number from Irwin, and I called him, and I asked if I could come to his house. And I met his wife, and we sat down and had some coffee. And I told him how proud I was to be working in a show with him, because I always thought he was a fabulous actor. I was always a great fan of his. And he appreciated that, and we began to talk about what we could do to make it a good show. This is before the pilot. What we could do with our characters. And we were sort of in agreement with everything. And we just hit it off like that. And we became very, very close friends. And I am so glad that I finally was able to do Voyage, especially because of Richard, who was a sensitive, generous, beautiful soul, very, very shy, didn't get on too well with a lot of people, but oh, so intelligent, and what a wonderful actor, and such a nice guy to have as a friend. Irwin had made blooper reels. Now, I told you, Irwin Allen has no sense of humor, and he would never show them to us. And he was going to show them at a Christmas party, but then he backed off. And for some reason, he didn't think they were funny or they should be shown or whatever. So we never saw them. And he never showed them to me even after the show was over. So I don't know what he was afraid of. Maybe I'd love to know what I said in those blooper reels. Probably the F word. I don't know.